the lush landscapes of eastern Nigeria, where the air buzzed with the energy of vibrant traditions and the community thrived on the bonds of kinship, Awele's life unfolded. She was known for her serene beauty and grace. Awele seemed to be one of the most beautiful ladies around. Her father was a fabric seller and her mother was a tailor. She loved to help her mother out in her tailoring business, and so she spent the most part of her day in her mother's shop. Her mother's customers liked to deal with her more than the rest of the people in the shop because of her respectful and peaceful personality. She is skilled in managing conflicts and has the best answer to turn away anyone's fury. One day at Mama Awele's shop, everyone was discussing the Ohaneze festival and Awele was excited to hear about it. She decided she would attend with her friends. Ohaneze festival was a gathering that celebrated the richness of Igbo culture with flamboyant dances and the rhythmic clang of the Okena. On the day of the festival, Awele was gorgeously dressed in the beautiful Ankara dress she made by herself. While she was dancing at the festival, her beautiful dance steps caught the attention of a familiar face, Okena. They both looked at each other and smiled. Okena was immediately striking. A man whose presence commanded attention, not just for his physical appeal, but for the intensity that seemed to simmer beneath his surface. He was charismatic, a beacon of strength and confidence, yet his eyes hinted at deeper currents. Their meeting was no accident. Okena, aware of Awele's previous casual courtship with his friend Ndoka, approached her with a determined charm. Ndoka had been sweet but uncommitted, and Okena presented himself as the stark opposite. Okena was passionate, decisive, and fiercely devoted. Awele, caught in the whirlwind of his pursuit, felt herself drawn irresistibly to him. Their connection was profound, tethering their souls with a bond that seemed destined. Okena could not end any day without going to spend time with Awele, as the sight of her seemed to be more important to him than food. Mama Awele was very delighted to know that her daughter meant so much to such a handsome young man. Each time she sees them together, she would always tease them by saying, "They love birds." And of course, Awele would always feel shy hearing that. Within months, Okena proposed and Awele accepted. Swept up in the promise of a life filled with love and partnership, their wedding was a jubilant celebration, and the union was blessed by the cheerful prayers of their families and friends. Awele was eager to live with the love of her life. After the wedding ceremony, before Awele was sent forth officially by her family, her mother called her into the house for her final piece of advice. "Awele Nwam," her mother said, "you have now become Okena's wife, and that means you must stay submissive to him. You are not at any point expected to disrespect him. Marriage is like a parcel of an unknown gift. Therefore, you must wear patience like a cloth and never put it off." When she was done with her advice, she hugged her daughter and bid her farewell. Awele departed with her husband to start their new life. Shortly into the marriage, Okena changed from the loving man he was before marriage to a monster. He became cold towards his wife and was hardly loving to her. He came home one fateful evening, shrouded in a cloak of rage, his words sharp as knife, slashing through the tender fabrics of Awele's heart. She stood bewildered, her mind grappling with the sudden shift in the man she loved. Okena's tirades became more frequent, each outburst a thunderclap that threatened the foundation of their marriage. He would call her names at every single opportunity and berate her incessantly for insignificant mistakes. One day, Awele went to her mother to narrate her ordeal in the hands of Okena. "Mama, Okena's attitude towards me is killing me," she said. I can't bear it anymore. But her mother only encouraged her to remain patient, that Okena would someday change for the better. She advised her daughter to continue to pray for the gift of a child, as she believed that the presence of a child would change Okena. Awele took her mother's advice and remained ever patient, hoping her love would weather the storm. She cooked his favorite meals, tending to their home with meticulous care, and tried to pierce his hardening shell with her warmth. Yet, her efforts seemed only to stroke his fury. Awele continued to pray regularly for the gift of a child and did all she could think of to see if she could get pregnant. Her mother also got her some herbs that were believed to aid fertility, but nothing happened yet. As time passed, Awele's beauty and strength drew the attention of other men in the community. Though tempted by the prospect of an escape into arms that promised kindness, her discipline held her firm. She would not forsake her vows, despite the pain they now represent. Not long after, her prayers were eventually answered. The joy of discovering she was pregnant brought a fleeting glow to her life, but it did little to soften Okena. If anything, his cruelty intensified, mocking her changing body and diminishing her spirit with each cruel word. The birth of her child, a moment Awele had imagined would be filled with shared joy and renewed bonds, instead left her more isolated. Okena's affection was reserved solely for the child. His harshness towards Awele continued. Her family and friends watched with heavy hearts, their voices a chorus calling her to step away from the marriage. Yet, Awele, bound by her belief in the sanctity of their vows and her own resolve not to break her commitment, chose to stay. She endured, her dignity and grace facing the onslaught of Okena's inexplicable wrath. The cycle of abuse continued until one day, pushed beyond her limits, Awele confronted Okena. Her outburst was a storm of pent-up frustration and hurt, a cathartic release that, to her surprise, was met with silence rather than fury. Okena's calm response, a stark contrast to his usual tirades, gave Awele a momentary glimpse of the man she had fallen in love with. This rare peace was short-lived. However, as Okena soon resumed his cruel demeanor, Awele wondered why her good virtue would work against her, while a harsh response helped her instead. She desired to become consistently hard and harsh, but it was not in her nature. The one time she did it was not easy for her, so she did not see how possibly she could help herself. However, she was hopeful to know that there was something in the world that could tame her husband. Driven to desperation, Awele sought the help of a reclusive witch doctor, known for his deep knowledge of ancient charms and potions. He provided her with a charm, assuring her it would temper Okena's rage and restore the love that once flourished between them. She brought the charm home with so much hope and used it on her husband. Initially, the charm seemed a miracle, smoothing the rough seas of their relationship and bringing a semblance of the peace Awele so desperately missed. Overjoyed by the transformation, Awele continued to use the charm, believing she was finally reclaiming the life and love she yearned for. But as the days turned into weeks, she noticed a troubling change. Okena, once vibrant and dynamic, began to fade. His sharp intellect dulled, his spirited personality dimmed, until he was but a shadow of himself, a vacant, listless shell. Horrified, Awele returned to the witch doctor, seeking a reversal or cure. But the old man's eyes were filled with sorrow as he explained the irreversible nature of the charm's effects. What had been done could not be undone. The balance of life and magic had been tipped, and the cost was Okena's very essence. Awele was left to ponder the grave consequences of her actions. Her home was now a silent mausoleum of her hopes and dreams, with Okena a living reminder of the price of her desperation. However, She consoled herself with the fact that all she has ever wanted was the peace of her home, and that she never truly wished to harm her husband. She clung to her child, the only piece of their love that remained untouched by the chaos. Thank you for watching till now. Here ends the story of Awele and Okena. Who do you think is to blame in this story? Would it be Awele for going to the witch doctor, or would it be Okena for being a sheer narcissist? Or do you think it's Mama Awele's fault for not teaching her daughter to learn to stand up for herself? Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section. I wish to appreciate all those who have subscribed to our channel. Wow, this means a whole lot to us. Thank you so much. We are also still appealing to you. If you've not subscribed to our channel, please consider subscribing. It helps our channel to grow. And please remember to like and share this video. Thank you so much. And until the next video, remain blessed. Bye.